The bustling studio lights of The View hummed with their usual morning energy on this crisp November day in 2025, as the iconic round table gleamed under the spotlights, surrounded by an audience buzzing with anticipation. Whoopi Goldberg, ever the poised moderator, kicked off the show with her signature warmth, welcoming co-hosts Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Alyssa Farah Griffin to the table, their chairs creaking slightly as they settled in with mugs of steaming coffee and stacks of glossy magazines. The topic du jour was Hollywood's evolving take on aging gracefully, a subject ripe for a lively debate, especially with today's guest, Courteney Cox, the timeless beauty from Friends, whose recent directorial debut in a poignant indie film about midlife reinvention had critics raving. As the band played a funky intro tune, Whoopi leaned into the camera with a grin. "Ladies, we've all got stories about turning the page on youth today. We're diving deep with someone who's not just talking the talk but walking the walk. Please welcome the one, the only, Courteney Cox." The audience erupted in applause, a wave of cheers rolling through the room like thunder, and there she was, striding out in a chic emerald green pantsuit that hugged her figure just right, her dark hair cascading in effortless waves, a confident smile masking the nerves that always fluttered before a live taping. Courteney waved graciously, exchanging quick air kisses with the panel before sliding into the guest chair, her legs crossing elegantly as she adjusted the microphone clipped to her lapel. Joy Behar, with her sharp bob and sharper wit, eyed her new counterpart with a mix of admiration and that trademark mischievous glint, already mentally filing away zingers for the segment. "Courteney, honey, you look fabulous. Spill the secret. Is it Pilates or just good genes from that Friends money?" Joy quipped, drawing laughter from the crowd, and Courteney chuckled, launching into a light-hearted recount of her fitness routine, the conversation flowing like a well-rehearsed script. But beneath the banter, there was an undercurrent, a subtle tension born from years of industry whispers or rumors of past slights, forgotten collaborations, and the unspoken rivalry between sitcom legends and talk show titans. Sunny Hostin jumped in next, her legal precision cutting through the fluff. "As a woman who's juggled motherhood, career, and now directing, how do you combat those Hollywood ageism trolls who say women over 40 should stick to supporting roles?" Courteney nodded thoughtfully, her blue eyes flashing with conviction. "It's about owning your narrative, Sunny. I directed this film because I wanted to show that reinvention isn't a luxury, it's survival. We're not fading, we're just getting started." As the laughter from Joy's quip faded into awkward echoes, Courteney Cox straightened in her seat, her posture a blend of yoga-honed grace and the steely resolve that had carried her through tabloid tempests and personal heartaches. The studio's air conditioning hummed softly, a counterpoint to the rising heat of the exchange, while the audience, a sea of eager faces from diverse corners of America, moms in cardigans, retirees with notepads, young fans clutching Friends memorabilia, held their collective breath, sensing the pivot from fluff to friction. Sunny Hostin, with her impeccable braids catching the light, attempted to reclaim the high ground. "Joy, let's not dismiss the evolution. Courteney's gone from Monica's obsessiveness to directing stories that empower. That's growth, not repackaging." But Joy, undeterred, waved a manicured hand dismissively, her gold bangles jingling like warning bells. "Growth, sweetie, it's the same neurotic energy, just with a fancier title card. I've been calling out Hollywood hypocrisy since before she was bleaching her teeth for that Ross guy. Remember when Friends wouldn't cast fat actors? You all profited off that skinny privilege and now you're woke about age? Spare me." The words landed like a slap, sharp and unapologetic, drawing gasps from the front row and a flurry of side eyes among the co-hosts. Sarah Haynes' mouth formed a perfect O of surprise, her blonde curls bouncing as she shifted, while Alyssa murmured a soft "whoa, let's unpack that," her diplomatic instincts kicking in. Whoopi, the anchor in the chaos, rapped her knuckles on the table, a gentle gavel. Okay, we're all friends here literally." Courteney, thoughts on Joy's observation? All eyes swiveled to the guest, whose cheeks flushed a subtle pink, not from embarrassment but from the slow boil of indignation that had been simmering since her arrival. Courteney uncrossed her legs, leaning forward with the intensity of a woman who'd stared down David Arquette's addiction and emerged unbroken, her voice steady but laced with fire. "Joy, with all due respect, and I mean that, because I've admired your fearlessness from afar. Friends wasn't perfect, no show is, but we changed lives, gave people permission to be quirky, to love messily. The studio, once a cozy confab of coffee and camaraderie, now pulsed with the raw electricity of confrontation, the audience's applause morphing into a tense hush broken only by the occasional cough or rustle of programs." Courteney Cox, her emerald suit now feeling like armor in the heat of battle, rose fully to her feet, the microphone cord tugging taut like a leash on a lioness, her face a canvas of controlled fury, cheeks flushed, jaw set, eyes blazing with the ferocity of a star who'd clawed her way from modeling gigs to sitcom immortality. Joy Behar matched her energy, slamming a palm on the table with a thud that echoed through the speakers, her bracelets clattering like chains in revolt. "Irrelevance," says the woman who peaked with a catchphrase, "I've built a career on truth bombs, not canned latra. Your fight back is cute, but it's performative. Sit down and let's talk real reinvention, or are you too busy directing vanity projects?" The barb struck deep, evoking Courteney's battles with typecasting post-Friends, the endless auditions for the zany best friend that had her questioning her range, and now this, a live evisceration under the glare of national TV. Sunny Hostin, her dark eyes wide with alarm, reached out a hand as if to physically pull back the tide. "Joy, that's crossing a linear. Courteney's work speaks for itself. We've all had peaks, it's the valleys that define us." But Courteney, voice cracking like thunder, cut through. "Performative? You think this is an act? I've buried friends to addiction, raised a kid solo through heartbreak, and yes, directed a vanity project because Hollywood won't hand scripts to women over 50 on silver platters. You sling shade from this safe table, Joy, but try walking in my lube out into the blisters are real." The audience roared then, a cacophony of support splitting the room, half cheering Courteney's valor, the other half gasping at the intimacy of her revelations. Phones now openly aloft, capturing the unscripted drama for viral eternity. Sarah Haynes, tears welling in empathy, fanned herself with a cue card. "Oh God, the blister, some metaphorical and literal." "Joy, hug it out." Yet Alyssa Fair-Griffin, sensing the PR apocalypse, whispered urgently to Whoopi, who cleared her throat with amplified authority, "All right, power posy commercial in 30. Courteney, Joy, we love the fire, but channel it to the film, not the feud." But the break came too late. Courteney, trembling with adrenaline, pointed a finger at Joy, her nail polish glinting like a dagger. "Safe table? You've got 4 co-hosts to back your buy. Tessa, I've got residuals and residuals of doubt." Post-commercial, the studio felt like a pressure cooker with the lid ajar, steam escaping in wary whispers from the audience, who resettled with wide eyes and whispered speculations, the scent of popcorn from the green room lingering like a ghost of normalcy. Whoopi Goldberg, her dread swaying as she commanded the space, opened with forced levity, "Welcome back, folks. We're picking up with Courteney Cox, whose film Echoes of Us is dropping next month. But first, let's address the elephant." That was intense. "Joy, Courteney, a truce for the art?" Joy Behar, smoothing her skirt with exaggerated calm, shot a sidelong glance at her foe, her lips curling into a half-smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Truce? Sure, Whoopi, but art imitates life, and life's messy." "Courteney, your film's about messy. Womena convince me it's not just Friends 2.0 with therapy sessions, it was a olive branch barbed with thorns." And Courteney, receded but radiating residual heat, met it head-on, her voice a velvet glove over an iron fist. "Messy? That's the point, Joy. My character doesn't tidy up her chaos like Monica Wood. She wallows, then wars her way out. Friends was comfort food. This is the reckoning meal, spicy and unapologetic. If you can't taste the difference, maybe stick to your morning show smoothies." Laughter bubbled up sporadically, the audience thawing, but the undercurrent swirled. Sunny Hostin seizing the moment to pivot, reckoning a love that, as a black woman in media, I've had my share of comfort versus confrontation debates. "Courteney, how did directing amplify your voice on those issues?" Courteney softened fractionally, gesturing animatedly, Amplify. It was like handing a megaphone to my mirror self. On set, I cast diverse ages, body as a real women, not airbrushed ideals. One scene, my lead confronts her reflection post-divorce I drew from my own nights staring down doubt. Joy, you've shared your ex stories. Imagine weaponizing them into cinema. Joy snorted, but there was a flicker of respect in her nod. Weaponizing? I've been slinging X-Files since the 80s. My off-Broadway stint last year was basically that. But cinema? That's big-budget BS. Your film's indie, sure, but Sundance darling, it'll preach to the choir, not change the game. The joust resumed, gentler now, like fencers testing blades after a frenzy. Sarah Haynes chiming in with her bubbly buffer. Choir or not, I'm buying tickets. Courteney, that divorce scene, did Johnny McDade inspire any lines? Spill the tea, safely. Courteney laughed genuinely, the sound a bomb. Johnny? He's my rocket. Wrote the song for the soundtrack, actually, but the tea is, love after loss is the real plot twist. Joy, your marriage to Steve, solid gold. How do you keep the spark when the world's watching? It was a peace offering, threading personal to professional, and Joy, surprised, paused, her guard dipping. Spark? Humor, honey, a laugh at the absurdities. Steve and I, we argue like pros, make up like poets, with the clip's emotional residue hanging in the air like morning mist. The conversation deepened into the marrow of midlife myths, the studio's vibe shifting from skirmish to symposium, the audience now scribbling notes on programs, inspired by the raw revelations bouncing between the women at the table. Courteney Cox, her initial armor cracked to reveal vulnerabilities gleam, delved into the film's backstory with animated fervor, her hands painting pictures in the space above the table, gestures born of boardroom battles and bedroom breakdowns. That vase-smashing scene, improvised after a crew member confessed her own stalled dreams. We filmed it at dawn because that's when truths hit hardest. To blurry-eyed, no filters. Joy, your book when you need a laugh, nailed that in no Polish, just punchlines from pain. Joy Behar, her posture relaxing into the chair's embrace, tilted her head, a genuine curiosity softening her edges. Paint to punchline as a my gospel, but dawn truths. Mine come at 3 a.m. post-wine, arguing with Steve over remote controls. Your film's got that messy middles. Still, Hollywood's middles are middling. They cast us as wise grandmas or vamps. When do we get the messy heroes? Sunny Hostin, her legal poise giving way to passionate prose, interwove seamlessly, messy hero SAS. As prosecutors, I see women's story sanitized for juries. Courteney, your direction desanitizes its forensic. How'd you cast for authenticity over allure? Courteney beamed, pride swelling. Auditions were therapy sessions. Lines about lovers lost, careers culled. One lead, 55 and fierce, hadn't worked since 90s soaps. Her monologue on empty nests. Oscar bait, we prioritized scars over six-packs. Sarah Haynes, ever the emotional conduit, wiped a stray tear. Empty nests hits home. My boy's off to college soon. It's terror and tango. Joy, your empty nest tales and stand-up. Gold. Courteney, film's tango partner, the thread wove tighter. Joy nodding with rare reticence. Tango? More like two-step with regrets. But your film step? Bold. I grilled you earlier cause I've been grilled at producers saying Joy, tone it down for TV. Screw that, tone fuels fire. Alyssa Fair-Griffin, bridging gaps with her insider's insight, added, fire indeed. A post-White House, I learned tone's a trap. Courteney, your fire-scorched ageism. What's next for women directors? Define it. Courteney pondered, fingers tracing the table's grain. Next, a series on sisterhoods or rivalries turned revolutions. Joy, you'd guest star as the thorn inside and who drops wisdom bombs. Laughter lapped the room, genuine now, the audience chuckling in waves, a few calling out do it in encouragement.